We shall now move to TEWU. By now, you've heard that TEWU-TUC is on strike and they are standing firm. I recall the starter trickling in from last year. They have been saying that they will go on strike. I understand there have been a lot of engagements and all of that. But, Kojo, we have the minister who can at least make sure that everything is, at least he can help the situation, right?
Yes. Dr. Rashid Pelpo is Minister of Employment, and he joins us on the line now. Grateful to you. I remember we had a chat with you here some time ago, and the focus was on how you will make sure that labor unions do not really go on strike. How did you take this when TEWU decided that they are going on an indefinite strike?
Well, I took it. Thank you. Good morning to everybody. I took it with a lot of pain because I thought that we had reached a situation where consultations are key in the drive to seeking what they want, and that in the process we were just warned, and for an indication that they were going on strike, it was just a day between when the information came and when the strike was commenced. And I assumed that it was not adequate. There was no time enough for us to interact more, because after having a discussion with the Fair Wages Commission, we agreed in totality that we will take everything they have asked for, work it out, and get it to the Ministry of Finance for them to sign and for us to agree, alongside others who are also having the same kind of problem. So we don't have to deal with one problem and the following day another problem will occur. So we assume that if there had been much more talk, they wouldn't have had the need to go on strike this manner. So I didn't take it with a lot of, I took it with a lot of pain and disturbance.
Have you tried reaching out to leadership of TEWU to get them to the table?
Yeah, I had a meeting with them. As soon as they declared that they were going to go on strike, I invited them to a meeting. We had a meeting over what they wanted, and I told them not to go on the strike, to call off the strike, and that there was all efforts being made by government to address their issue. I expected them to have listened, but they said no. The leadership, the members had already taken a decision to go on strike, and that where they have reached, they couldn't go back. Yeah, but I still urge them to think through it, and let's get to a certain point, because you are dealing with a government that has just come into office. You have brought a problem that we are about to solve. It's a financial issue, and finances are not things you just get up and work on as soon as you bring them up. We have taken over an economy that we are rebuilding, and we read a budget which didn't take into consideration so many things because we didn't understand the economy at the time. Not didn't understand, but we needed to rebuild this economy, and so we took over that economy and then look back at what we should have understood but was hidden from us. So we now had to rebuild the economy and needed a lot of time and space to work on it. So if you bring us any issues that are directly reflecting the need to spend money, it would have meant that we would have to do it comprehensively. We have to look at it more closely and so that we don't offset the trends we're moving on. So, but we all the same thought that there was a need to deal with their issue. And that was the reason why I asked Fair Wages to do some work on it, to make sure we get to the point when we can approve it, and then we pass it on to the Ministry of Finance.
Well, what I'm curious to know is that, would it be the first time you've met them personally since their demand?
They sent a word to me. I had met them earlier in a general meeting, but not in specifics. But this is when they declared the strike, it was the first time I met them. The reason being that I have the agencies that deal with them. and they report to me what they have done, and I give them instructions as to what to do. So, Labor Commission had an interaction with them. Fair Wages had a long interaction with them and took all their demands and worked on them and reported to me. So I was confident that things were moving in the manner that wouldn't have requested me to call them for a meeting any longer. And so when Fair Wages reported to me, they had gotten to the point when they could just approve that. And they also reported to me, they sent it to the Finance Ministry. Now, the need for me to meet them was when, after all that, they were still announcing a strike and still sent a letter to me they were going on strike. So quickly, I now didn't ask any of my agencies to meet them. I demanded to meet them myself and to have a discussion with them and to see what we could do, work together to let them understand what we have done, where we have worked up to, and the need for them to have the confidence that we would attend to their problem.
So you say that at least because of the engagement that you have had with them, you're quite still surprised that they declared the strike. What are you thinking is encouraging them to still continue in their pursuit? What do you think is encouraging?
What I got to learn was that the membership is so eager to push their leaders into such a situation. And once they don't respond to them the way they should, they are asking for, there's always a suspicion that the leaders are not efficient, they are working behind them and all that. So they normally will push them into such a strike action. But essentially what I know is that they have a strong need for us to respond to what they want. Unfortunately, it is the wrong time because you are dealing with a government which dealt with a budget that we didn't draw for 3 months, after which we now had to do a budget just to be able to run this, the government to the next year. So this year is not a good time for anybody to want to go on strike because it is when we finally understand whatever is happening, appreciate their concerns, pick them up, and are running with them and the economy that they should be worried that we are not responding to their needs.
Are these concerns a current concern or the demands, I would say? Are these demands current demands or these are demands from the past? You describe them as arrears of maybe payments, arrears of good working conditions. Whatever they are demanding, are they demands that were specific in 2025 or these are from previous years?
Yeah, they said that these are demands carried forward. But it also means that that should have made them to appreciate the fact that you are carrying forward a demand that had been sent to a government that had run for 8 years, didn't solve them, and a government that is running for 6 months cannot solve them as easily as they would have wished. So we are willing to solve the problem.
No, why did they not find expression in the budget, though?
Exactly.
Why did they not find expression in the current budget?
Why it didn't find expression in the budget?
Yes.
But I didn't tell you they didn't find expression in the budget because we are doing the budget and we are taking into consideration all issues that are outstanding.
No, Doc. I mean, you said earlier that you came to meet a budget that you didn't draw for the first 3 months. After that, you came to Parliament with your own budget. And the question is, why didn't this issue that you say you inherited find expression in that particular budget that you're operating on now, not the one you're about to, develop?
I have explained that we are running a budget, we are running an economy that had not been defined the way we came to see it. You all are aware about the kind of economy we have made. It went below C-. It became a junk economy. And so if you want to build this economy and all of a sudden you are picking up issues and saying, I'm going to solve this issue, it means you are not fair to the Ghanaian people. We are serving, in this respect.
Okay.
We have come to meet an economy. We needed to raise the economy, give it less work. And then in the process, you don't accumulate debt on yourself, and including the external debt and internal debt we had to deal with, a situation where GDP to debt ratio was about 100%, and then you are going to add more debt to it. You need to understand the economy. You need to
our debt to GDP ratio has never been 100%.
It went up to 104%, my dear. If you don't know, check it out.
Okay, but when you came, it wasn't. It was around.
No, it wasn't.
70.
I'm saying that
yeah?
I talked about the 8 years of administration of a government where we ran into an economy that had no, that is not the kind of economy that they gave a description to. We came to see an economy that had been minus C plus, C minus, but below C minus, a junk economy that we needed to get into the road. And so when you are doing so, it's not safe for you to begin accumulating extra debt when you knew that the economy itself was not functioning well. So it's better to run the year to the end, get to understand what is happening, take all the issues at stake and deal with them. And let me explain to you also, we don't want a situation where you deal with this issue because they have gone on strike. Then another issue, they'll go on strike, and the next day another people will also do. We want to make sure we deal comprehensively with all these issues. So in the end, we don't have people saying, oh, we have been given this. These people have been given something, and these others have not been given. It will not be the best in labor management.
As of this morning, do you have a roadmap for them? What's the way forward for them, Honorable?
The way forward is to listen to them, to go to stop the strike, and to come and listen to what we have for them.
But they've indicated they won't. What is your strategy to still get them to rescind their decision and come around the table?
We want them to understand the situation. We still will have to talk with them. We need to get them to understand. But I also explain that we have, for them, there's nothing left undone. Everything had been done. All the issues had been presented to finance. The whole issue now is to include them in the next running budget, and the signature of the finance minister will be given to them. And all arrears and anything like that will be addressed. It's not like we are running away from the issue. We know that labor drives production, and we are keen to give labor the opportunity to function well, because we have a reset agenda. It's about an economy, but it's also about the minds of people. So we can cumulatively deal with all issues that have a direct effect on the economy. And we know labor is key. And so we don't want them to see that, or to have an imagination that we are not curious about what they want.
Okay. Right. Thank you for joining us on the show this morning for this clarity and assurances. Dr. Asha, I'm wondering if you were listening to the minister. I like to think that TEWU, since I was a child, it's quite specialized in going on strike. They like to really go hard when they have certain demands. I don't know if you listened to the minister, and as well if you've been following the TEWU.
But hold on. Do we still have the minister on the line? Oh, unfortunately. Okay. Dr. Asha.
Let's talk about the nurses.
Again?
Did you want to talk about the nurses?
No. Dr. Asante wanted to ask a question.
Oh, sadly. Yeah. Forgive us, Dr. Asante. Well, so, Dr. Asha, are you surprised? Are you surprised at what's happening? Do you also think that TEWU is being quite unreasonable?
I would have wanted to ask the minister a question. Unfortunately, he's gone. But TEWU employees, like any employees in Ghana, and they feel that their demands have not been met, and therefore they feel that the strike action is the only way to pursue their demands. But the question I wanted to ask the Honourable Minister was, would he have said the same things he's saying 6 months ago when he was in opposition? If TEWU had gone on strike 6 months ago and his party was in opposition, would he have stood in front of TEWU and said, hey, it takes time to solve these problems, so please calm down and give these people a chance to solve it?
I don't speak for the minister, but I like to think that he would say that it would be a government that is not just 8 months in power.
Well, so what do you say? You're saying that because you're 8 months in power, we're supposed to give you some room to do things?
I
How about if
I get the impression that's what he says, Kujo, that, well, they have inherited an economy that was completely run down, and so it will need time to reset. At least that's what I hear him say. Is that
How
fair?
How much time does it take to reset the economy? And did they tell the people that when they come into power, they're going to need some time, and whichever amount of time, nobody knows, but do they say that? You see, this is what Dr. Asante talks about, the hypocrisy sometimes that shows up. You know, where we use politics to kind of get into positions of power, and then now we're faced with the stark reality. The same thing that's happening with the Galamsey. There were promises made about how swift actions was going to be taken. There were promises made about the laws on homosexuality and how quickly it was going to be removed. Now you come to the reality of it. It is important that the Ghanaian population wakes up and appreciates some of the rhetorical speeches that these people make and take them on. Okay? These people that you're telling to wait are hungry. And if you're hungry and you're being told to wait, you don't have the time to wait. Provide results and solutions. And I'm sure they'll quit the strike and go back to work. And if you're saying you need more time, give them a timeline. There is no point to say I need more time. How long is it going to take? 2 months, 2 weeks, or 3 years to solve it? Otherwise, it can go on indefinitely. Oh, we need time to solve this and the other. Give us specific timelines, I think.
Okay.
Dr. Sasanti?
Yeah.
Yes. My question, even though the minister is not around, I'm posing it and you hear it, that I want to find out from him whether his government did receive handing over notes. Did they examine the economy when they received those notes? Did they take into consideration some of these things? And when they were in opposition, did they factor into their calculations that things of this nature will pop up, and what was their solution to this problem? In fact, I want the lamentation should stop and government must get serious and fix problems. You recall, before, I think during the campaign, the president did say that when they win power, they want some honeymoon. You remember? Nobody accepted that, because you should be prepared to come to office, and the preparation is part of the exercise that you do by knowing our problems and how you want to deal with them. And remember, we are not dealing with what? A government which has never been in power before. This party has been in power and they are alive to the problems that we have. So this is not a new thing, that every time working conditions of workers come up, they shove it under the carpet and then they don't deal with it. Another regime comes, then a group will pop up and tell you that this is a time to demand the pound of the flesh and all that. This is not new to them. But what I want from them is that, look, enough of the lamentations. Let's get serious. Let's fix the problem once and for all. And that is the way to go. Some of these problems have been compounded over the years. But look, you said in opposition that in spite of all the problems, you have the magic wand to turn things around. So now that you are faced with what the reality, you can't run away. You can't give excuses. And nobody is prepared to listen to what excuses. Remember that, as my colleague, Dr. Asha said, like, people are hungry. And remember, a hungry man is an angry man. You will not wait a moment for anything.
No, just give me a second, and I apologize to cutting, because we've just been joined by Dr. Bernice Welbeck. She is the executive secretary of the National Labour Commission. Thank you for joining us this morning. We've just spoken to the minister himself, but tell us, because you are quite directly in charge of these things, what are you doing currently with the TEWU situation?
Very well. Good morning. Yeah, so we have actually written to them and invited them to appear before the commission. And then we have asked that the institution, of course, the employer institution, and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission should engage them and bring a report. But what is important is that they need to call off the strike before any engagement can start. That is in accordance with the law. They've made their point. They've gone on strike, and there has been an intervention by the National Development. Once we intervene and we acknowledge the notice, even though we had issues with the way the notice was set, we still went ahead and then we are saying all of the strike and let us have the matters resolved. These are matters of so we are asking to meet the employer, like the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, which is the negotiating body of that, meet them and see how to address. And so that is our stance at the moment.
Tell me, since they... Forgive me. Please proceed.
Yeah, so I'm saying that, yes, we are monitoring the situation today, and we don't know whether they have not written to us saying that they are not going to call up.
Okay.
And we are hearing, I've had a few engagement and the feedback that they are saying that they wouldn't call up the strike and the matters are resolved.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Since they made their intentions known, whether directly or indirectly, how easy or difficult has it been to get them to the negotiation table? Are they quite a tough association, or you're getting them at least to come along?
You know what? It's important at this point to clarify that the notice that they said was not properly said. In the first place, they gave a notice to, and then they started the strike the following day. Meanwhile, in accordance with the law, you have to give at least 7 days notice, which starts counting to the date of receipt of the notice. They gave a notice on the was received on the 18th, and on the 19th, it started the strike. And that is not fair. Because you have to give 7 days notice. But they gave notice for their own strike. Now they have intervention. We are seeing that go back to the table and then let the employer engage you. And then what appears for the to hear the engagement. That is now.
And if they don't?
It is not as even the of the
well, Doc, I don't know, but your line keeps breaking. If you can reposition yourself for us, we'll be grateful.
I'm in a car. That's right.
Okay, it's better now.
All right. So what I'm saying is that they served the notice on a Thursday. On the Friday, they commenced the action. You know, and under Section 159, they should have served at least 7 days notice. Fine. Notwithstanding that, the commission still intervened. And the commission is asking that we want to hear what the difficulties are. But before that, because you have complained about the fact that you are not seeing progress, let the employer institutions, the Fair Wages, which is the negotiation body, let them meet you and have the conversation so that when you are you can give us a report on what has happened.
I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
It's important to note that they can't continue to be on strike and expect that there would be any positive engagement. That is contrary to the law. They need to follow the action. What they want is to have a resolution. So it's important that they've made their position that they are not happy, and now there's intervention. Both of the action and go and have the conversation. So it is clear that they are saying that they wouldn't follow the action. Can negotiation be held while on track? That is not in accordance with the law. So that is.
I didn't quite get that, Dobby. What will the commission do if they do not call off the strike?
what the commission would I can't say now. Currently, the commission is considering the matter. Whatever the commission, you will get people.
Doc, do stay on. We have Dr. Asante on the line. Yeah, he has a question for you, Doc.
Dr. Welbeck, thanks for the explanation. I have a big problem with the commission over the years. Whenever there is a labor dispute, you are quick to come out to tell us the position of the law. And then when people fail, you go to court, you make sure that they come and sit down and talk, and at the end of the day, nothing gets resolved. When are you going to change this situation for the first time, where what promises that government give, you will force government to what honor, so that we don't have a recurrence of this issue?
I didn't get your...
Yeah, the import of my question is that anytime there is a strike, people are, you quickly go to court, you tell them the strike is illegal, they have to come to negotiation table, they do all the things. And then at the end of the day, the government promised them that they will do ABC for them. Look, later on, you realize that some of the things, the promises, government don't keep them. When are you going to also, as a commission, force government to honor the promises of labor on the things that they promise labor? That is all that I want to know. I
see. You understand both the National Labour Commission in these matters. The National Labour Commission is not a negotiating body as expected. The National Labour Commission is an adjudicating body, and the National Labour Commission takes the processes of negotiation and mediate arbitration. It's go to negotiate and the other party does not comply with the agreement, and you find a saying that yes, this agreement we see, and a party is not complying, the commission has gone severally to enforce a duly executed the party. So if you say you have to partner with the commission, I don't see, because in this particular, they are saying I don't know whether the negotiation concluded and the things have not been, or the negotiation has been solved. There's no agreement for the National Labour Commission, which has been duly executed, for which employer is not expected, for which the commission would go to court. So to put the market properly in perspective, we are saying that go and resolve whatever you have a difficulty. The National Labour Commission is coming and press the right to be done in accordance with the law. So if you say you have that we only come in to try, because of course, if you take an action, there's a process. As there's a process to ensure to take the action. The same law, it gives you the right to strike, has prescribed procedures for embarking on those actions. So the clarity.
Okay.
Right, the network is not really favoring it. But really, thank you for making time to join us on the show this morning, Dr. Welbeck. She's Executive Secretary for the National Labour Commission. Of course, we shall be following how the engagement with TEWU-TUC will go. But